Well, hello everybody, welcome to Robert's Train Set. When I was at the train fair and live full-size steam engine exhibition a few weeks ago or so, that I did a video on, very briefly on there I did put a little sign up to say I bought some carriages, and here they are on my kitchen worktop. Reason for being here. So I just thought I'd do a little video on sort of cleaning these up, the history a little bit of them, not a lot, but just to show you how old I think at least one of them is, and how I clean them, and then a little bit of showing them running on these two bits of track I got here, and then a little bit probably up on the layout. So I hope you're going to enjoy it. And I'm going to start with where I introduced them on my live stream, my last live stream, to my audience, of which there were not many, but I'm pleased that they were there.
Look, it looks a bit wobbly, doesn't it? It's going. That's good. Ready for the derailments, everybody? So I'll come back to... So yeah, I bought these carriages and I got all six for 50 quid, which, okay, it's probably a bit over the top, I suppose, I don't know. But I thought, why not? And it's a bit of my old railway, because I think I did have some like this. Trains that have not been here before. And this is my layout in the loft, which used to be on my dining room table. And what you're seeing running through at the moment are six Triang Pullman carriages I bought at a train fair come live, live steam event with a steam engine. I'm running these behind my N7 062 tank, and sorry it's a bit dark, although it might be my computer, I don't know. Let me know if it's a bit dark, but it's difficult to get it less dark, I think.
So it was a great help. All the carriages except one had this label underneath showing us what R number they were, so 228. And if you look at this, what's the name? These are all the same number but different ages, going right down almost to modern. And the first one on there is this one, 1958. And if you look at the coupling, which you will see later on, it's exactly the same as one of my carriages. So these are the details, and I will put on screen where I got this from. And here's that picture you saw before of them on the kitchen table, or on the kitchen worktop, should I say. My kitchen's too small for a table. As you can see, some of them have got different coloured roofs. And I did try and clean this. There you go, you see very sort of creamy the one nearest and white the one behind, which obviously is a guard's baggage van. And you can see the labels on them as well. So again, you know, different colour, but the livery looks similar. And it's quite a nice carriage. Now the thing with these is they're only 9 inches long, and they're actually quite a bit shorter than the normal Pullmans now. And there's that funny coupling, you can see. Really strange. More of this later on. But most of them, in other words all 5 of the others, have got the conventional D-cup, big one. So these axles are very much like the Hattons. You see the ends of the axles and they revolve. And there are 2 carriages with this type of bogie, and then the rest have the conventional one with the tapered axles. And you can see the difference here with them glinting. More of this later as well. So as I said, there's a label on them, isn't there? So we've got to get that off. And when you do, it leaves this bit of residue behind. and quite a few had them on. As you can see, in fact, when you try and peel them off, they leave the paper behind. So how did I clean them? So initially I used a bit of white spirit. Now I do it very gently on the first one and say make sure it didn't melt anything. But this helped. You still needed a fingernail though. Then after washing and then drying, I use this polish renovator. This is French. I've had it years and it's very thin and very fine, not too caustic, hopefully. Put it on with this cloth. And yes, it is very watery. It's not like teacup that you get today. And there's my soapy water in my sink, or in my bowl rather, that I use to keep washing. And a sort of a really worn scouring pad, which isn't metal or anything, it's just plastic. And obviously got a nice sponge on the other side for rinsing off. And I rinse them by just running them under the water. Then I dry them with a tea towel, and then I prop them up here on another tea towel so that all the water drained out, because some probably did go inside. And as you can see here, it did drain out. There is water there, isn't there? You can see just the little puddle there. So then I turned them upside down and left them for another little while. And as you can see, you've got the original leak, but none at the other end, other side. Now, some of them did have a little bit of damage to the graphics, which, you know, they're nearly 50 years old. Well, no, they're more than, they're about 8 years, or the oldest one is 8 years younger than me, and I'm 71. So here they are lined up on the, what's the name, and I've really separated the colour of the roofs here. And why are they like this? Well, I think perhaps the video that is about to come will explain why they're in that group. So here they are, and the two separate ones are the ones with those axles that you can see. And when I've stopped running this up and down this bit of a flexi track, I'll show you why. If you can see it, it's a little bit out of focus, I'm sorry. But you can see, they move a lot, backwards and forwards. There's a lot of play. And the axles are actually split. One side is loose on the axle. So let's try the other one. And that's much the same. And again, this is the one with the funny coupling. And you notice it's not even a proper dig on this. And that actually moves about, a bit like the Hatton's axles that Peter Dixon had to sort out. But these are 70 or 66 years before. These are the ones with the conventional axles as we have today, with the pointed ends and the holes in the bogie. Closed holes in the bogie. Far better. So the 3, 4 in front, I can't move them very far because the track's not long enough, but you can see they move gently, no noise, and all right, they go backwards and forwards, but hey, it's a big decoupling. Ones at the back sound like all the bearings have gone, and I suppose in a way they have. So what I can do with this, I don't know.
Everybody back up in the loft after quite a bit of a break, really. So it's a comfortable 62 in here, 60 when I came up, but after a lot of heavy rain overnight and this morning, it's now brightened up and the sun's out, so it's probably going to get hotter. So I thought I'd better come up here and do this. So as you can see, I've got my trusty owl looking after me, with some tea in it, and it's about 10 o'clock, so we're going to have a go at these carriages. So here we are, the N7 up here ready to do the trials on these new carriages. And what I propose to do is to run each carriage separately behind this loco and just see how they run. Do they wobble? Whatever. I won't show all of the carriages. I'll probably show you one of the good ones and one of the bad ones, and we'll see. And in my head now is a drastic procedure to get the really old carriage working. Whether you will agree with what I do, I don't know, but we'll have to see. So, as a matter of interest, you've got the N7 here, and it's a really, you know, it was a workhorse of British Rail, and probably before. And you can imagine this loco pulling loads and loads of carriages, the corridor, the uncorridor ones, the compartment ones with all the slammed doors, taking thousands and thousands of people to work every morning and bringing them home hopefully every night. And my next door neighbour, my 82-year-old next door, can remember being pulled by one of these. And I know the preserved railways are doing a fantastic job, and they are, no two ways about it. But all the big locos, the Tornadoes, the Flying Scotsmans, the Duke of Gloucesters and all these, they all get the limelight. But really, these were the backbone of British Rail, really. You know, there were hundreds and hundreds of them pulling loads of trains every day. And where I went the other week, that you saw, hopefully you saw the video on, I actually went back a week later, the following Sunday, because I had missed an awful lot of stuff that was there because it was so jam-packed with things to film and look at. So I'm just going to show you a few photos before we set off on this little journey of a restoration project on an N7 at that museum. And they're not just, you know, they're there to keep these locos running, and it's a real knockdown. The boiler is away being fettled, and I got some pictures of it, and the thing that really amazed me was how big it was. I didn't realise, looking at this little model, how big an N7 is. Okay, next to a Tornado or a Flying Scotsman, yes, it's a small loco, but physically when you're with it, it's huge. So I'll just show you a few photos that I took that week after. And at the end I will do a few photos and a bit of an update on the things from the last video, really. Okay, everybody, hope you like it. So I thought I'd start with potentially the worst carriage, and that is the 1958 version with the funny coupling and the very thick hook and a little bit of, I don't know, the devil's spike at the bottom, I don't know. Anyway, I've tried to make this as rare as I can, and as you can see on the rear of the N7 I now have a full-size decoupling, albeit in plastic, but it hasn't got a hook on it, because I did notice that all the carriages that I bought have a shorter hook, and I think that can cause problems when hooking up to a more modern decoupling. So I'm going to run this around, and just to let you know, two things really. The sun's got a little bit tired and gone in behind the clouds, so hopefully the loft won't heat up too much. And secondly, I tried to run this previous to filming, and on the other end, I turned the carriage round. It didn't. It just lost the carriage almost straight away. So, not good. So you're just running, and I just run it around one lap, and you can see it wobbling and whatever. So let's make a start, shall we? So with a toot and a whistle, we'll make a start. And the first hurdle is this point. Now whether that's my track or this carriage, I do not know. We'll have to see how the others cope with it. Now remember, this carriage not only has that funny coupling, but it also has the axles right the way through the bogies. And when it's done its lap, I will take it off and show you. Here she comes. And I must admit, the N7 has been performing absolutely superbly. I'll let that carry on, and I'll finish the film here. So, to be honest, I was quite impressed with that. Yes, it wobbled in places. Now, not only does it have a different fixing to the coupling, as you can probably see here, it's fixed on a lot different to all the others. These wheels, we always go about the back-to-backs, don't we? But these axles are actually split. And if I don't know if you can see this, but you see that you can actually just move them about, and they'll slide backwards and forwards. Now I think probably a bit of oil on this to make them slide backwards and forwards a bit more would help. So basically it corrects the back-to-backs as it goes over the layout, which is a good idea in a way, but I think maybe some of these are a little bit too stiff. So we have two carriages with these, so I'll now put one of the carriages with the conventional bogie and the tapered axles, and we'll see how that performs. So I now swapped over the oldest carriage for this possibly newer one. Interesting point is they're both called Mary. I have a train with two Mary carriages and two baggage end carriages that are number 79, but there we are, one of everything, can we? And it's a train set. So this has got all ostensibly the modern old coupling, which a lot of our wagons do have, and obviously not an end pocket, and actually riveted, a bit like Alan's TTA wagons, which he converted, and he gave me a good, my last video, a good mention. It really made a hell of a difference. It sort of got a second wind. So, and I've got a few more subscribers now, and I've got 1100, over 1100 now. So I thank all the new subscribers that have come on. I hope you'll enjoy what I do, and stay with me, because you get new ones and then they drift apart, but aren't we all like that a bit maybe? So we'll send this one on its way and see how this one works. And this has actually got the normal, as I say, the tapered axles into the bogies, i.e. modern. As you see, we had a slight wobble on there, but nothing I would worry about. And it does run down there very well. And in fact, to all intents and purposes, I don't think this carriage performs any worse than my more modern ones, which are probably still quite old, just that they were released a bit later. And yeah, I'm really happy with this. Absolutely super. I'm going to let this run past and finish this bit. So there we are, it's finished its other circuit and come to a halt. So I'm now going to try all the other carriages singly on this loco, and I won't extend this video any longer than it needs to be to showing you, and then I'll come back to you after I've done that. So I've done all that, and yeah, some are wobbly. I think it might be the profile of the wheels or anything like that. But you know, they're old carriages. I'm quite happy how they're running. So I'm just going to show you this over the points at the end, and then as I follow it along, the new set of points here. Here we are. And this has been going around for a couple of circuits now, and never say never, but it's all worked very well. So I'm really pleased with this. Well, welcome back everybody. I've now coupled up the trains, and especially for Kelly, here's Earl St Germans for her. She likes this loco. In fact, it's her favourite loco on my layout. What's it coupled up to, or what's she coupled up to, should I say? With the 101 nestling in the little station, it's the modern Pullman carriages, my 6 Pullman carriages that I've had quite a while, and these are actually Hornby. And obviously alongside, if I pan along, you'll have to excuse the post that gets in the way and all the other bits. We put all them there. There they are. And I thought Tornado deserved a run, and the N7 has worked really hard, so she's in the shed having a bit of a rest, and you can see the difference in the length of these identical trains, in inverted commas. It's almost one carriage longer than the modern coaches. So 9 inches, I think about 11.5 inches, something like that. So it does add up, doesn't it? Anyway, I'm going to get these running for you, and then when you've seen the end of these running, which I hope you like, and yes, the old ones do wobble a bit, but I accept that. I'm quite happy, you know, they're old, you know, a bit like me really, I wobble a bit as well. So after this, I'll just have a few pictures and a little bit of video that I took on the second visit to the East Anglian Railway Museum. And to be honest, I enjoyed the second visit as much as the first, although there was a lot less that I took film of. Here's everybody, see you in a minute. So with 2 bursts of the whistle for Kelly, let's get Earl St Germans underway. With a whistle from Tornado, let's get Tornado underway. I think the driver's in a hurry to get back and get his cup of tea. So, just to conclude, with the sounds turned off so you can hear me, you might be wondering why the old carriages, that the last time we saw them in the live stream were derailing everywhere, are running around perfectly well here, albeit with a few little wobbles. And I hope you'll forgive me, but I've done it by doing this. And there we are. So, I just thought these were causing problems. They're too short, the bit on the bottom makes a problem, and I've cut them off, as simple as that. And as you've seen, it's all running around. Now the older carriages with the axles right through the bogies, they're right at the back, except obviously for the last guards van, it's there. So I am happy with these. I think it's a nice addition to the railway, and if you didn't put them on with the modern ones, you wouldn't know any difference, would you? So we'll now go to some pictures of the museum a week after from the last one. Okay, well, bye. And it's time for lunch.
So this is the loco that greets you at the entrance. That was last week, and this week they painted it. Looks a bit better, doesn't it? I filmed this building site last week, and the week after, this is up. My God, day and a half I was told that took to put up. This was a method of travelling along the rails. Looks quite good. And here's a rail chair with a bit of rail in it. And this was magic. This is a wooden model of a train. Absolutely superb. It's quite big. And they had some 5.5-inch scale locos there, and I couldn't believe how big they were. You see them on YouTube and you think, oh, you know, but when you're actually with them, they're actually massive. This is a little area where I think kids can practice to be an engine driver. There's a little thing there Now these are some engine parts from a company that used to be in Colchester apparently. And look how big that piston is compared to my hand. And obviously we've got the HST, and here's a diagram of the original one, I would think. They do have a model railway, in fact they've got 2 model railways there. You push the button there and it runs. Really good. I've got a bit of thing of it. This is obviously a diesel rail car running up. As it runs out the end of the circuit and then sort of stops. I found this a bit strange. Got a good strain with the loco pushing it along. I'm wondering whether it's uncoupled from the other end. I don't know. Possibly. We all know that on our layouts from time to time, don't we? So there is a miniature railway here, which I completely didn't go and look at last time, and it was working last week or the week before, but it's shut today. But I sort of give you a little flavour. There's loads of this on other YouTubes. How to get prosecuted. Nice green here, which would be nice in the summer. And there's a bus, and on the bus, if you can't read it, it's you know, sort of a substitute for a train, and they're still doing it because that spot was still up on the station. So in the shed where the N7 was, there were some other locos, either in bits, like this one. There's all the pipes that come out of the boiler. And a couple of little saddle tanks, which I quite like. I thought they might be used in the driver training, which was on this particular day. And that's how the poor people travel around. This is the shed where the model railways were last week. And there's this nice crane. And look, you look through the thing and you see the train. And there's a cat. Quite nice, I had a bit there. So here's the train with the thing, and we were allowed on it for one trip only at 1:30. So I got on and I just acted as a normal passenger. I stuck the camera on the lid of my drink that I'd taken on and just filmed it. I got the whole of this thing, but obviously I'm not going to put it on. It's about 15 minutes long. You see the windows aren't quite as clean as you'd like. And if you hear some funny noises, I am drinking a cup of tea while I'm recording this. I found it kind of... Now this is actually being driven by one of the trainees on the steam loco, and he did do a bad job. Had a few... the camera did tip over once or twice when it was coming to a halt or starting up, but otherwise it was as it was. So, you remember this from last week? I didn't have any information on it, did I? Anyway, I did see the chap on the second visit, although again he was so busy I didn't manage to talk to him. But he did give me a place to go and find some information on this, which we'll see after this trip. So I hope it will put your mind at rest, if they were ever out of rest. It was a good day. So as you can see now, Andrew Brindon Locos, it's quite a good story, so go to the website and there's quite a bit of information. He seems to have diesel shunters as far as I can see, and some wagons. So I hope that's helped, and I hope you've enjoyed this, and watch out for the next one. Cheers everybody, bye.